Okay, we're going live. Hello. I think I'm live. I'm going to test my own audio here instead of asking you guys like an annoying person. Because when we first started doing live streams, jeez. When I first started doing all these live streams, I was having a lot of audio issues. So now I think I'm permanently scarred of messing up the audio. Let's see. Oh, it's working. All right, cool. Good to see you guys. And let me check out the chat here. We got a lot of people hanging out in chat early today, and welcome, guys. Michael Kedge and I think it was Azad. First people here. You guys are overachievers. Thanks for coming early and chatting with me. Who else was here? Cliff is here. I got to measure that. We'll do the weight gauge on the M's Chrome Excel Fat Herbie for you, Cliff. And Trung is here. Long is here. Luis is here. Good to see you, Luis. Jason's here. Good to see you guys. And great question, Jason. What's happening? It's been busy right now. I'm gonna, as soon as I turn off the video here, we're gonna end the Father's Day sale. So the discount we've been doing for site-wide is going to be no longer. And it's incredible. I want to just thank you guys because the support that you've given us over the last, actually forever, has been incredible. And it's almost like everybody has a dad in here or something, because we seem to be making and shipping out a lot of wallets. It makes me really happy. And it makes me really happy that you guys are sharing the leather with me and then with your dads. I think that's pretty cool. And then I've been on the phone with a lot of people, or a couple people today, and on the emails. My brother is out of town on vacation right now, so I've been picking up or trying my best to pick up the emails. And I've been working night and day on emails and just keep falling behind. But it's great for me to get in there to talk with you guys and remember the connection that we have, because it's always funny to see, for me, how many people come to us because of YouTube. And I think it's incredible. You know, the origination or the origin for turning on the camera like this was because I couldn't properly show the color depth and luster of the leathers in still images. I started doing videos, and we started making videos when I stopped working at Horween. I started doing more frequently, and I thought it'd be a fun idea to make a video basically every day of all the stuff we're shipping. And now we're making and shipping so much stuff that it's impossible for me to do that task, and that's incredible. So it's just amazing how YouTube has connected us, and I'm pretty thankful that you guys are here. A long-winded, sappy story here, but thank you guys so much. I'm looking at a table. What we're going to do today, a couple things, is I wasn't going to make a video today because I'm so behind on stuff. Because Matt's out of town, we're a little short-handed. But there were a few custom wallets that are done that I'm looking at in front of me on the table here. They're just too awesome to not share. So I really wanted to document those and share them with you guys. So we'll look at some of the stuff that's shipping out today, including some custom wallets. And I've got this here. Jerry just picked out with me. What we do is, if you want to order a custom thing, if there's something not on the website that you want, maybe you've seen it before in one of these videos, like, hey, I really like Tumbled Verdigris, you can message me or my brother, and what we do is we work with you to pick out the exact leather you want. So the customer reach out to me asking about Tumbled Verdigris, and they wanted a Fat Herbie out of it. So today I was sending some images of this shell, and there's some crazy holes in it there. So we're able to pick out a specific piece to cut from, and there's some really cool texture on this verdigris. Anyways, bottom line is, if you want something custom, we can do it, and we will charge you a little bit more. We charge 10% more, but what that 10% does is it allows you to customize anything we can customize, and it lets you pick out the exact piece of leather that you want. So I like to suggest people do it for marbled cigars or marbled cigar shells, even any marbled shell, and then the tumbled shells also. Anything where there's a lot of variation that you may have something in mind. We can send you pictures of what we have available and let you pick from there. So I think it's worth a 10% upcharge that we charge. And to give you a sense of that, if you're buying a $300 wallet, it's a $30 custom fee. And that sort of just pays for my brother's time or my time to work with you on it. And then you can choose color and edge dyes and things like that. All right. Oh, Sonny's here. I was just messaging you, Sonny. Ed. Good to see you, Ed. And Amir wanted me to say hi to Michael and also to you, Ed, too. PRP2, happy Father's Day. Yeah, this is my this Sunday will be my first Father's Day ever. My wife asked me what I wanted to do. I don't know what you're supposed to do on Father's Day. I was thinking maybe just make it incredibly masculine. Just like grill over like an open fire or something. I don't know what to do for Father's Day. So anyways, we got a lot of stuff to get into. I'm also wanted to go over the M's Chrome Excel with you guys. So let's get into it. Let's flip the camera around and start taking a look at this stuff. There's a lot of stuff. All right. Ed says, hi, Amir. Man, Ed, always great to see you, Ed. John Sanchez is here. What's up, John? Okay, we're here. So let's look. I got some props to show you. But brand new to the Ashland world. And in fact, I don't think many people have ever done this. This is a really special leather called Chrome Excel, but this is a version of Chrome Excel that's also known as M's Chrome Excel. And the M is short for mechanical. So this type of Chrome Excel is just a little bit different in the way that they produce it from Horween. Very similar, but the waxes that they use to hot stuff it are a little bit more dense. And the result of it is the leather itself is also pit tanned, so everything is just a little bit more compact compared to the standard Chrome Excel. The other different thing about these is they're tanned on some horse hides. And horse hides are notorious for character and very, very random, you might say. So take a look here. You can see all the bit of figuring and even little bits of difference in the colors on this particular piece. I have another one here that's different. And it's different also in a cool way. Oh, let's see if we can focus. It's not like you're looking at a totally different piece to piece, but you will see a lot of variance on any horse front or any horse butt for that matter. They tend to have a lot more natural imperfections. And the reason that it happens is because the animals live longer in the field. You know, most of the stuff that you probably see for footwear is probably tanned on a bovine. And most bovines, the steer hides in particular, are raised for meat. And they don't live an incredibly long life, which is maybe we won't get into that. But they're raised to make money. So they're trying to make food and as much of it as quickly as possible. So as a consequence of them not living very long, they don't tend to get scratched up and scarred in the field, where the horses they tend to get older. So there's more opportunity for them to get scratched up in the field. So this is the other color. We have the natural M's there. This is the russet brown color and that same leather. And it kind of reminds me of the color 4-shell. And the reason to bring these up, we're still doing a pre-order on these that we should be able to ship out within the next 2 to 4 weeks is the hope. And they're special. And me personally, I think thinner wallets are a little bit better. And that's why I prefer the horse fronts. So Cliff was asking, how thick are these? It's about as thin as you'll find a wallet from us. And it's because it's a horse front. So horse fronts are inherently thinner. They're roughly 2 to 3 ounces in thickness. So this is a weight gauge here, which is way too bright. Okay. So see how this guy goes up and down, and it changes the needle. So the thickness of a horse front is about, let's see if I can get it, about here. It's about that thick, which is pretty thin. So looking at this gauge, 2 ounces is about 0.8 millimeters. So we're using 3 different layers of that on this wallet. So let's gauge the outside of this guy. So I've got about 11 ounces there, which is roughly 4.5, 4.4 millimeters. And here's another one. So looks like a little over 10 ounces there, which is about 4.2 millimeters. And this one is right at 10, so about 4 millimeters. And they're pretty thin. Let me find you a Herbie I've worn. Okay, I've got this is my raw natural shell Herbie I wore a while ago. I remember these shells weren't particularly thin, but they also weren't super thick. So this one is a little over 11 ounces. Maybe this was made from thinner shell. Let's see what else I got. I got Herbies all over the place. This is a leather we don't do anymore called Natural Essex. This was probably thinner also. Looks like I got about 12 ounces there. So it's a little thicker. Here's another shell piece. Looks like somebody was wearing this one. So that's about 10.5 ounces. 12 there. So the horse front that we're doing is about as light and thin as we get them. Here's another. This is the natural stockyard I wore about a year ago. It's a little over 12 ounces here. And then the Latigo that we're doing, we also made these Latigo Herbies that the pre-orders ended. We made these from specifically thin steer hides. So that's the thinnest Herbie you'll see in a steer hide, about 11.5 ounces. 11 there. So hopefully that helps, Cliff. The horse front M's Chrome Excel are really neat. They're a little thinner. A lot of people think that thicker leather is better somehow. And I think the idea that people have is that it's going to last them longer and be more durable. And in our experience, which has been about 10 years of making wallets, the thickness doesn't seem to matter in terms of durability on our designs. And that's because we've done a few different design features to make it last longer. Like you'll notice on this Herbie here, or maybe we'll just start looking at some of the stuff. You notice on the M's Chrome Excel, none of the edges of our wallets are thinned down. Bye, Lupe. None of the edges are thinned down and turned over. So a lot of designs, you'll see edges are beautiful. It's like a really nice rolled edge where they'll, if you imagine the edge of this wallet is a little longer, they'll thin it down along that edge and fold it over, glue it down and stitch it down. It makes a really beautiful edge. But the problem is when you thin down the leather too thin, it starts to rip and tear, especially in the corners or any strength like tension spots, which is why you see we double stitch or triple stitch everywhere there's a stress point, even here and here. So the thicker leather doesn't seem to matter for us. I just feel like I don't want a huge chunky softball in my pocket. I prefer a thinner wallet. And the other thing is we thick or thin, we'll guarantee them forever. So this is the natural Latigo Herbie I've been wearing. This one has so many cards inside. I think I got 16 cards in here and some cash. Let's see how rich I am. We probably got a few bills. How many is that? 6 or 7 bills in there, and it's still very, very thin. Might as well gauge it. So even with all those cards in there, the full thickness, we're getting about 5.5 millimeters. Maybe less. 4.5. How's that even possible? It's still really thin. And I think it's because, just to give you a sense, I've got 3 blank credit cards here. And if I gauge these 3 credit cards, they're about 2.5 millimeters. So you got to remember, even if you have a thin wallet and if you load it up with a ton of cards that are stacked on top of each other, you're going to keep adding thickness to the wallet just inherently. So that's why the Herbie's neat for a thin wallet, is because the layout on the inside, none of these cards are like stacked on top of each other. So it just remains thinner, and that's why I like it. I just love Fat Herbie. So we do have these M's Chrome XL. They're up right now. If you want, again, I have to turn off the Father's Day sale code, but I won't have a chance to do that till after this video. So if you want one of these, they're a pretty great deal right now. I think they're $90 after the Father's Day sale code. And I did that because I wanted to have more people experience the Natural M's Chrome XL, as well as the Latigo that we sold pre-order for the other week. So you can check those out. They're on the sale page of our website right now. But let's get into some more stuff. I wanted to show you this Tumbled Verdigris. This is a special piece for Jerry. Picked out this particular shell for a Fat Herbie that he wants. And I promised to show it off in the video here. It's going to be a little big. Here. Let's get the camera up. So this is a piece of Tumbled Verdigris shell cordovan. It's a relatively new concept that Skip Horween came up with, and it sort of gives the leather a really cool stonewash look. Floyd, if you're the same Floyd, we've been talking and emailing. Floyd, I owe you another apology, and let me know if we can get you a watch strap set up. I feel bad about that one. But check out this is Tumbled Verdigris. It reminds me of like stonewash denim or something. And it's interesting when you tumble up the shell cordovan, because the cordovan never creases. It develops these very different sort of ripples. And it's definitely a more distressed, sort of beaten up look. The other thing I thought was neat about this is Jerry and I were talking about what to do on the interior. And there's something about the reverse side of the tumble shells that look really neat. So hopefully that does it justice there. It's almost sueded, and then we get all these dye marks. I think the interior of his Fat Herbie is going to be really cool on this guy, and we're going to cut interesting sections from both sides, which is sort of like our strength. Is I feel like the team here has really good taste for when we see something that's naturally variable like this, choosing interesting sections to cut and thinking about how it's going to fit into the context of the entire wallet. That's what we do really well, and that's what we do well for our private stock. So look forward to some private stock coming up. I'm not sure if we're going to do one before our 10-year anniversary private stock sale in July. And I think we're going to do that 10-year anniversary stuff after 4th of July. But you can look forward to some stuff like that. Again, anything that's randomly variable that inspires us, we'll try to cut into special pieces and sort of highlight what makes the leather unique. And then we turn it into what we're calling private stock. And, sometimes too, not everything has to be nuts. like I noticed there was a video where I put up some content of what we were calling the Dexter Johnny the Fox with all this crazy dye splatter, and somebody didn't like it, and that's cool. I've realized that not everything is for everyone, and there is something to be said for like something really clean like this Tony the Ant in amaretto shell. So this is my favorite shell color too. Easy says that shell cordovan looks significantly less shiny compared to others. That's wild. Yeah, the tumbled shell, it's not. But if you look up a video I put up, I think it was called Skip Horween's wallet or something. He has a tumbled shell cordovan Herbie that he wore, and it patinas to get super, super shiny. I was very surprised at how bright and shiny it gets. The tumbled shells and the raw natural shells and the raw denim shells are much more dull to start, but they patina to get bright and shiny, and it's special. Marco, I'm not sure if we got any. Honestly, we've just been collecting stuff for the 10-year over the last few months. I'm not sure if anybody's made a key fob or not, but that'd be cool. So we're going to look at the stuff we're shipping out. This is an amaretto shell, Tony the Ant, my favorite shell color. Here is an Apple Watch band in English Tan Dublin. Check out that really cool figuring and character, and even the color. This English Tan is really nice. We also have an English Tan Valet tray to match that one. Here's a black Chrome XL Valet tray. And then you see those are sitting in this larger Valet tray here. This is the XL Valet tray in the natural Chrome XL. Take a really close look at the texture of the standard Chrome XL here. It has a really nice texture, but it's more polished in and smooth when we compare it to the M's Chrome XL. And here's a close-up of the M's Chrome XL again. So if you look down the spine here, see those really fine hair holes? They're much more pronounced on the M's Chrome XL when you compare it to the regular Chrome XL. And that's because the regular Chrome XL, the more popular Chrome XL, has been polished and sort of buff smooth, which is nice. It's just a little different than the M's. All right, let's slide in some more stuff. Chrome XL belt. We've been doing a lot of watch bands, especially Apple Watch bands and belts recently. In fact, we can't seem to keep English Tan belts in stock, and they're really nice. I love my English Tan belt. We are making more of them. If you want a belt that you don't see in stock, just message us and we can sort of reserve the next available. This is a beautiful looking belt. Check out the figuring on this piece of Chrome XL. This is a natural Chrome XL belt. And I think when I was meeting with George at Oak Street, he said that natural Chrome XL was their most popular color. And I think that's why a lot of people are picking up the natural Chrome XL belts from us. People like to match their belts with their footwear. Check this guy out. We just got some Color 8 Chrome XL back in stock for Valet trays. And I really like our Color 8 Chrome XL. On the unintended reverse side of our Color 8 Chrome XL for Valet trays and the watch straps, we actually stain in and finish in the unintended side. So this is the side that's intended, the grain side of the leather here. And on the inside of the Valet tray here, this is called the flesh side. I think that looks really cool. And it's sort of like in the boot or shoe world, it's sort of called T-core, where this leather, the dye has not struck through the full thickness of the leather. So it's a little bit lighter in the center. I like that look of this one. It sort of frames out that color. It looks like, I think we have a bunch of the natural Latigo pre-orders that are shipping out today. So if you ordered a natural Latigo, you might be getting a tracking number after the camera goes off here. Here's one of them that's going out. This one looks like we were able to cut a measuring machine stamp on the inside, which is going to be kind of like mine. I picked this one out because I wanted a measuring machine stamp on mine too. So it looks like somebody else got one. I think we only have like 3 sides of leather. So there's only 3 of these that exist, or that could exist with the measuring machine stamp. So somebody got one here. Let's keep skimming along. Oh, here's some of the custom stuff that I wanted to show. Check this guy out. This is a Bugs Moran in one of those more rare shell cordovan colors. This is the whiskey shell cordovan. And it's beautiful. It's like a golden brown shade. This one has a really great idea. So see this card slot on the outside? Kind of reminds me of the functionality that I like in the Capone money clip, but we're translating it onto the Bugs Moran. So we've got one exterior card slot on this Bugs with the standard card slots on the interior. I thought that was a really really great idea to have this exterior card slot. All right, custom Tony the Ant here. Check this out. English tan Dublin on top of some cobalt blue Dublin. And I've always sort of liked these two colors together. The other great choice, I forget if I suggested this or somebody else did. The other great choice here was to include the stitching to be blue to sort of play off that cobalt blue on the top. I really like how that turned out. And on the inside, English tan Dublin sitting on top of the blue Dublin piece here. All right, here's a good one. Somebody was just messaging me about this guy. This is a tall Tony the Ant. And this one feels particularly thin. Some people want thinner stuff. This one's really thin. This might be the last one we have, though. But this is a really cool piece of black Dublin. Check out the grain character and the figuring on this guy. You're never going to... I shouldn't say never. It's really hard to find a black leather that has this amount of character. And I challenge you to go to any store and just look at their black leathers. It's going to look fake. It's going to look like plastic. It's probably going to look like paint. And that's why I like the black Dublin so much. I don't find many interesting black leathers around, and I think this one's special. And the other thing I like about this particular design, the version of the Tony the Ant here that we call the Tall Tony, it has a continuous color of leather, of grain through the inside. Most of our wallets, this centerpiece is sort of flipped backwards, so you see the flesh side in the center. But this way you get grain all the way through the center of it, and I think that's really cool. Here's another great idea. we were marveling at this one earlier. This is another Bugs Moran, a variant on the Bugs Moran. Looks like reverse natural. Yeah. Looks like actually even reverse raw natural. So this on the outside here is the reverse side of the raw natural shell cordovan. And what's cool here that we've never done is the customer asked for the Horween shell cordovan hot stamp on the outside. And then the variation on this one are the vertical card slots on the inside. And we cut this ink stamp right down the middle of for these card slots. That is really cool. I like how that one turned out a lot. That's just another one of those like really smart creative cutting things that somebody did. Really cool. Yeah, Easy said he just made a black wallet. 0 grain character. Yeah, the reason is you can cover up a lot of imperfections as a tanner in the black leathers. So you could take a piece of garbage and sell it for some money by covering up the imperfections. I like them, but there's a reason that you don't see this. And the reason is this amount of variation is horrifying to a larger manufacturer. So for a place like us, where we're basically like a little boutique shop, a place like us, we love this because it makes it unique and special. A big footwear maker or maybe a big leather maker is going to have a hard time making this exact piece every time, and that's what they have to do. Their challenge is they have a catalog that has a picture of this in it, and they need to ship you exactly that. You're never going to be able to do that with a natural product like this, which is, I think, what makes this a little bit more special. So actually, it looks like we have another one here, another Tall Tony in the black Dublin. They're really nice. What else we got? Oh, somebody, hopefully they watched this. An order come in yesterday for a color 8 shell cordovan. This is a marbled color 8 shell cordovan Bugs Moran, and they were really excited. They said they watched these videos, so maybe you'll see it here. They asked us to pick out, or asked me to pick out my favorite marbled color 8 from whatever we had, and this is it right here. Check out this really cool, I don't know what to call it, figuring plus color range. In this piece of marbled, it kind of looks like a leopard or something. That's really neat. And I really like the color on these card holders on the inside. Super special. Brennick says, you suggested a blue stitch on the custom 2-tone Tony. Yeah. I guess I have good taste. I like playing off the colors. If you're going to do a color combo, I like to try to play with it a little bit and lean into it instead of trying to make it subtle. I think this one worked out perfectly. Fat line grain character is so much more interesting to look at. Yeah, technically, I think technically they're not trying to make, they call them fat wrinkles or draw in the leather world. So this look here is a little bit more like a draw kind of look. This sort of, sometimes it kind of looks like spider webs. I think most tanneries don't want that. I like it a lot, especially in something like this English tan Dublin, which again, like you don't see a lot of leathers with this amount of character, especially something with pull up. It's hard. It's hard to match two colors at once, which is exactly what a tannery has to do with a pull up leather. They have to match the color of the pull up and the surface at the same time. That's another special thing about the Chromexol and the Dublin. Just check out how, I mean, having it natural like this, that makes this interior look extra neat. I think it's really cool. More Dublin. We sell a lot of Dublin and a lot of English tan Dublin. Check out that one. Really cool. And I think I should apologize to people that have been emailing me. I have about, my brother's out of town, like I mentioned. I have about 70 some emails to get to, and I've been working day and night on emails. I know there's a few people that are waiting for photos from me on choosing out specific Dublin pieces. I got you, though. We'll take care of you. It just might take me a little bit longer. I'm trying to get back to everybody within 24 hours. So if I haven't gotten to you today, give me till this evening. But that's really, really special. Another Dublin piece here. Capone money clip. I wore one of these for about 6 months. Well, I actually I have it right here. Here's the Capone that I wore. And this was the first one off the, this is actually the first prototype that we loved. And I wore it and I loved it. I thought it turned out great. I loved this wallet. I'm going to hold on to it in my secret stash over here. But here's what it looks like new. And, I'll give you a good focus. The interesting thing about this Capone, or my experience with it, is I was amazed at how this thing sucked up cards. So when I loaded this up, even with the 16 or 20 credit cards I have, plus all the cash, it stays pretty thin, and that really surprised me. I'm happy with the Capone. Is that our newest? That's our most recent wallet that we started selling. Here's another great English tan Dublin piece. It looks like this one's a little lighter than most. This has those fat wrinkles that Easy's talking about. The fat wrinkles are going from top to bottom here. And then the draw is the wrinkles that are going from left to right. And usually the fat wrinkles are something you find around the neck of the animal. They can sometimes be farther down into the bend of a hide, but usually you see fat wrinkles around the neck. This English tan Dublin piece is really neat. It's a little bit lighter and more yellow than most of the stuff we do. Oh, here we go. Check this out. Some people are kind of bummed out about flipping the shells backwards, but when I see this, it just makes me excited. I like the shell side also, but just look at the ink stamp like that, looking at all the random colors and the dye marks, I think make the reverse shell really neat. So this is a reverse black shell cordovan, which it does not look black at all. I totally get it. It's a little bit more green. And sometimes they range to be a little darker. So like on the inside here, these two card slots are the full range of color that you'll ever see on a reverse black shell piece. This is really dark. Usually they're kind of more like this, or even in the center, but there is a range. That's cool. The other thing that's great about the reverse shells is they develop an incredible patina. They get much brighter and darker. Here's a great wallet. This is brand new as of yesterday. Similar to the last wallet, except this time we have black shell cordovan on the outside, which is magical. There's something about how the light reflects off of the black shell that I find completely amazing. And then the reversed interior, I believe this isn't the one. Somebody picked out a specific one of these. It's not this one. But that's a really great reverse interior. Here's another one, just like that last one, but this time color 8. This is the classic shell cordovan color. A lot of people, when they hear the word cordovan, they think of this color. It's a dark brown burgundy shade. It's really beautiful. Some angles it's a little bit more red, and then other angles when you tilt it, like I'm demonstrating here, it has this amazing color shift. It can get more brown or more red depending on how you look at it. And here's a look at the inside. This is what the reverse side of the Color 8 looks like. It's a little bit more of like a orangey tan. And here's another, now back in stock also. And a bunch of people picked this up and been waiting for these. This is a 100% Color 8 shell cordovan Johnny the Fox. I find this one and the 100% black to be the cleanest looking wallets we do. And it's for two reasons. It's all Color 8 shell inside and out. So you get that beautiful shell cordovan color on the outside here and on the inside. The other thing that we do that's a little bit different for this particular color and the 100% black is we stain the edges Color 8 also to match the shell color. And I really like how they look. So we do all these edges here, including the edges of the card slots. So when you look down the top, all the edges are stained black. I think it makes it really clean looking. It's beautiful. Oh, here's a blast from the past. This is a wallet that you may not have seen before, but this is called the Machine Gun Jack, and it's got a snap closure on the front. We don't have these on the site right now, but we make them to order if people ask for it. This one is tough because you can't fit bills folded in half. You have to fit bills folded into thirds to fit nicely into the Machine Gun Jack. But this can hold a lot of credit cards, and we've had many people who find this to be their favorite wallet. It's a little bit more of like a minimalist style. And actually it was Nick Horween who came up with this idea. He wanted one piece of leather, which is what this is. And he wanted it to be symmetrical. So if you unstitched all this, it would just be one big symmetrical piece of leather. So that's the Machine Gun Jack. Looks like we've got a couple key fobs. Oop, this one's really neat. Check out this marbled black shell. If I can get it to focus. All right. Really cool color depth on this marbled black shell. And then the stitching is all green. We try to make the marbled black shells and the reverse black shells with green thread. And I like this key fob a lot. There's also this black key fob, which is a little bit more straightforward and clean. What's up, Mark? Mark says, day 3 with my natural shell Fat Herbie. Loving it. Yes, Fat Herbie. Not this color, but yeah, man, Fat Herbie I find just to be if you wear a back pocket wallet, I just find the Herbie to be the best around. And here's the little brother to the Fat Herbie here. This is the Tony the Ant. So our original wallet, our flagship model that I started making 10 years ago now, people were loving the Fat Herbie, but they looked at it and they said, I'm not familiar with that. I wish it was smaller. But they like the aesthetic of the exterior bill slot with this sort of thumb notch on the outside here. So we translated that same vibe of the Fat Herbie and we shrunk it down to this guy here. This is the Tony the Ant Color 8 shell. And then here's a good progression. Then we had people that said, I want that Tony the Ant, but I don't want the bill slot. So that's how the Bugs Moran came about. We actually shrunk down the width a little bit to make it a little punchier and a little more compact. Bugs Moran is like the Tony the Ant, but without a bill slot, and it's a little smaller. It's about the size of a deck of cards. And this one's a really nice piece of Color 4 shell. Here's a story about Color 4. For a decade or more, the Color 4 shell is my favorite shell cordovan color. It's beautiful. It's sort of like reddish, medium brown, reddish brown with like some angles is a little bit more caramel. And then the amaretto came about, and I don't know. I fell in love with the amaretto. It's just such a dynamic color range in this shade. I love the amaretto. It's my favorite. And I always struggle with amaretto because it's so hard to demonstrate that color in photos and videos. It's almost like you have to see it in person. I got to keep moving here because I'm a little busy. I got to start packing this stuff up. I got some people to meet with today, finish up these emails. Here's a Color 8 shell cordovan Frank the Enforcer. This one has been personalized also for CJCW. Thank you so much, CJCW. Did I read that right? Yeah. Here's another one. Another personalized Frank the Enforcer. Garnet shell cordovan this time. This is the most red cordovan color. Some angles it kind of looks like the Color 4. And then other angles, more of those red tones pop out. This one's for ADS. Thanks so much, ADS. Oh, here's a really funky looking marbled color 8 with like all the range of the marbled color 8 in the front here. That's really cool. And we got a couple key accessories. Oh, lighter sheaths. Is this a garnet? I think this is a garnet shell lighter sheath. And these are people have been picking up a lot of lighter sheaths, which is great. Here's the idea for a lighter sheath. Every now and then, I want to make lower price point items so you can experience the leathers. So we started doing this in the we did it in the raw denim first, I believe, because I wanted people to experience those raw shells for themselves and not have to buy, a $300 wallet just to get something in hand to experience it and enjoy it and put in a functional thing. We also had, I always forget the name of it, the DeVille leather, that gray color. Why do I keep forgetting? Pearl DeVille. We made some lighter sheaths in the Pearl DeVille. I really want people to check out that DeVille leather. It's really nice. So that's the idea. Every now and then we'll do little products like this, lighter sheaths. We did some one-shot card cases. And once upon a time, we did some coasters. It might be nice to do coasters again. To be honest, we're just too busy to even cut them. Here's a vault key holder, also in the English hand Dublin. This one's a little bit more flat and smooth than some of those Dublin pieces we looked at earlier. All right, 2 more pieces. Another Dublin piece. And this is one of our newest products that I wear. And this is we call it the Key Buddy, but this is the keychain belt clip. And I love this hardware. It's like a really thick piece of iron here for the ring, and it's a wider key ring. I think it looks great. And all the hardware is antique brass finish here. So I clip this to my belt loop, and then I hang my keys off the other side. Some people like to do it the other way around, and they'll take the ring onto the hook, hang their keys off of here, and then hang this over your belt and sort of clip it around it. I don't like to do that because I find it annoying to like take it off of my belt. And the last guy, Apple Watch band. Again, we've been doing a lot. I'm surprised. For the longest time, we've sort of just been known for wallets, but now it seems like we can barely keep up with wallets, and then we can barely keep up with belts, and now we can barely keep up with watch bands. It's great. I love it. I love having more people experience the leather. And on something like an Apple Watch band here, in an unlined piece of shell cordovan, it's super comfortable because this reverse side of the shell is almost like velvety soft, and it smooths out as you wear it. It becomes more and more comfortable. And the other great thing about the shells, we pick the thickest shell cordovan possible for these straps. And if that's not thick enough, if you have something like a Panerai and you want like a really chunky watch strap for your chunky watch, we can make 2-layer straps. They're a little bit more expensive, but you can get like a really chunk look. So we're going to flip the camera back around. Oh, I should show off this shirt. I don't know if they're still selling it. This is a let me get the microphone. This is a Horween leather, like genuine Horween product shirt with their year that they originated, the tannery, and then in the back it's got the shell cordovan. You might be able to pick up one of these at genuine Horween products. I get nothing out of that. I think this shirt's really comfortable, and they make a different shirt too. All right, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, if you guys have any questions, number one, thank you for checking out all the stuff. But the reason to do these live is I love to talk to you guys. I could record this in higher quality and do it on my own, but it's more fun to answer any questions you have. So please ask. I'm happy to answer anything I can. PRP2 says, I've got a dark green machine gun jack in my collection that works out great in certain situations. People like the machine gun jack a lot. I should probably add it back to the site. We came up with this because we wanted a more minimalist style. It's punchy. It's like really small. So it doesn't hold, if I remember correctly, holding around a dozen credit cards is about where it maxes out. And then for me, the challenge was cash. You would sort of have to have a companion wallet to this guy to hold the cash nicely. But people that wanted a front pocket sort of minimalist thing, machine gun jack was great for. Easy says, are you using the same thickness leather for all your wallets, or do you go down to like 2.5 from time to time? Great question, and I can tell you're a leather crafter. We try to make most of our wallets from 4-ounce leather. With that being said, a couple of our designs you cannot use 4-ounce leather for. We have to pick thinner leathers, and we like to pick naturally thinner leathers, which tend to be horsehide. The reason we don't like to skive down or split down the leather is because you really ruin the strength. I have a splitter, I've got a skiver. We try not to use them, especially for like a wallet interior. Let me give you an example here. I could probably retire tomorrow if I could make as many of these wallets as people wanted. We have a hard time keeping this wallet in stock because we need naturally thin pieces of leather for the interior. And you can see why is because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 card holders plus this middle piece here and then the back piece. So all those layers of leather stacked on top of each other really start to add up quickly, especially when you fold it in two, because then you double everything. So we buy a lot of show cordovan, and we have to sort through it all with that weight gauge that we were looking at. So we'll take this guy and gauge out all the leather, sort through all the colors, and then find little tiny sections of shells that might be thin enough and might be large enough just to cut one of these little rectangles for the card holders. Like to cut this piece here is really hard. So I could just thin down all the leather, but I would make a product that I couldn't stand behind and I wouldn't want to guarantee forever. We guaranteed these forever because we're not thinning them down. So Johnny the Fox, traditional bifold interiors, we try to be closer to 2, 2.5, 3. Under 3 seems to work for us on these. But to me, thinner's better, but it has to be naturally thin. If I can get 2 ounces for the interiors, I'm super happy. And then I would use like 4 ounces on the outsides. Pretty much everything else we do is around 4 ounces thick. PRP2 says, any thoughts of making a lighter sheath for Zippo types? I would love to do that. There's really no reason for me not to do that. I could totally do that. It's again one of those things that we just don't have. I probably could use some more team members. So maybe we should hire on some people that do more crazy stuff. But we've built this business over 10 years by just growing organically, and not advertising. I always have this fear that I have to lay people off or like reduce people's hours. So I get scared to add more people onto the team. But it feels like we're growing up. So maybe I could add people. I want to do more than that. Like I got prototypes all around me. I want to do shell belts. I want to do dop kits. I want to do bags. I had a phone call today. Somebody reminded me that I wanted to do laptop sleeves. We have there's a desk pad I'm looking at over there. We have more good ideas than time. I've got a luggage tag in front of me too. There's so much stuff. So many people want wallets and belts and watch straps right now. It's hard for me to do more. I'd love to do a Zippo though. Yeah, Floyd, you have the DeVille? The Pearl. The Pearl DeVille, man, I think that might be a new hip leather that you might start to see. And it might take a decade to take off because the Dublin is taking off now, but we've been making that leather at Horween for like 13 years. So it's taken a while to catch hold. But the DeVille might be one of those. I think, honestly, though, I think the Latigo is going to make a comeback. And let me give you made this prototype here. So here's a first ever see of something. I've been wearing this natural Latigo Fat Herbie, and I love it. I'm really happy with the Latigo. I wanted to see how it would work on a Johnny the Fox and before we started to offer it. I have to wear it still, but I want to try out this prototype. This is a really clean looking natural Latigo Johnny the Fox. I love that. Like, how nice does that look? Super clean. I think this could be a hit. It's a little. We were talking about thickness a minute ago. It's like a little thicker than I wish it was, but I think it might work. This could be the future. It looks beautiful. So we did make 2 prototypes of it just because I want to try it to see how this leather functions on the Johnny the Fox interior. That's the other thing is that people don't realize is like you can't just like make a new wallet. There's a lot of development and back and forth and like trying it out before I feel comfortable releasing something to the world. Because again, like we're trying to make you a wallet that you love that lasts forever, and I need to make sure it lasts forever. So I like to wear them myself. Oh, Nataku, you're late. There's a replay though, I think. Good to see you though. Mohit. I think I was pronouncing your name wrong. It's probably Mohit. It says, any recommendation on how to get the teardrop hole in a belt? I lost some weight and I might have to punch a new hole. Unfortunate news for you. I'm sorry. We actually have a custom tool. Somebody was asking me about this the other day and I took a photo. And I can show you what that tool looks like. So we have a custom tool. Here it is. It looks like this. So that's what the tool looks like that cuts the, oh my God. That cuts the belts, right? See the teardrops? I can't really cut one of them. I don't know if you'll be able to find that. If you want, though, I could probably, if you want to send the belt back here, I could probably punch in some circular holes for you. We have some hand tools of that shape. PRP2 says, keep up the awesome work. You guys are the best in the game. It's great to support those with such passion for the crafting materials. Thanks, man. And that really means a lot. I'm very, very lucky to have accidentally started working at the tannery. It was supposed to be a summer job that lasted for 14 years. And I fell in love with the leather. And I fell in love with the leather because it's beautiful, but also I think I fell in love with it because of the passion that Skip Horween has for it. And if you check out the interviews I've done with Skip Horween, you might want to check out the most recent one with we talked about Latigo. You can really feel it from the guy. Just how much knowledge and passion he has for it rubbed off onto me a lot. And Skip is from a different generation that's not as familiar with YouTube, for example, or social media. So I think I've, just by virtue of me being in this different generation, I'm sort of doing what Skip did for me, but to like a broader scale of just being a nerd for the leather. And that's why I'm lucky is I wake up and I get to come look at this stuff and feel it and smell it and wear it. That was the whole reason we started Ashland in the first place. And now the goal has turned into sharing that leather with as many people as possible. So when you say something like that, that really means a lot. And I appreciate it very much. The other thing is it's not just you saying that, is people are supporting us with dollars that they've worked very hard to earn. And when I think about it more than one time, I think about it probably every hour of every day, about how somebody earned $100 to buy a wallet from us, and they're voting with that dollar saying like, I want the thing that you made. And that's really meaningful to me. And especially considering like our hardest thing to keep in stock. This is not inexpensive. So we think a lot about how much you guys supporting us means. And the other thing is, like, again, the goal here is to share it with as many people as possible. It's not cheap, but this is the cheapest that we can make it for and do it right, which is wild. The shell cordovan is very, very expensive, but it's special. And I think, people, are able to take the time to think about the things that they're buying and understand the difference and put that value on it. And they say, you know what, that's worth $100 to me, or that's worth $325. Like, I get it. And that's a special person. And we sometimes think that, or Skip and I would talk about, like, you know, maybe that person's not being born anymore. You know, maybe people aren't thinking about the stuff they buy, and maybe they just want something and don't really care and just throw it out. That's not what we're about. We're about, you know, this is a wallet that you're going to love, and it's going to last forever. And if you get it and you don't love it, I want to give you your money back. So that's kind of like, I think we've sort of found people that are of like mind, and we've organically grown this much because of that. So it means a lot that you guys can take the time. It's a special person that can take the time to think about these things and understand and appreciate the difference. And then not just that, is like throw $100 at it. That's a big deal. So thanks, PRP2. And I got kind of deep there. Like, I'm really passionate about that. Ren's24, Ray from Los Angeles. What's up, man? This is can't wait for my custom Tony the Ant English Tan Dublin. I can't either. I wonder if it was, yours might have been one of the ones that we looked at today. But there were a couple really beautiful looking English Tan Dublin pieces that we're shipping out today. So if you ordered in the last 24 hours, or I should say, if you ordered from noon yesterday till this morning, you're probably going to get a shipping notice as soon as they turn the camera off here. Huge fan, and I recommend your company to anyone who's in the market for leather goods. Thanks, Renz. And that's why we don't have to advertise. It really means a lot that you guys spread the good news, or the good word about us, I suppose. Floyd says, any future possibility on a Latigo or DeVille belt? I can make you a Latigo or DeVille belt right now, but I would need to do 2 layers of thickness, so it'd be kind of expensive. The 2-layer belts, if I'm remembering the pricing right, they're like $160, where you could just buy an unlined Chrome Excel belt or a Dublin belt for $90. That's a pretty tough pill. The stitched 2-layer belts are beautiful. I made I can say this without spilling beans. We made a special woolly Chrome Excel belt for a boot brand in the Pacific Northwest that hopefully they'll be selling some of our 2-layer woolly belts. It turned out so nice. So if that comes through, you might see some more woolly belts, but they're more expensive. Anyways, I think they're worth it. It's expensive. We could do a 2-layer DeVille belt right now. We could do a 2-layer Latigo belt right now. And remember, we were talking about leather thickness. The leather we like for wallets is about 4 ounces thick. So the DeVille, and actually the Latigo is a little thinner. The Latigo is like 3.5. Even if you did 2 layers of that, you're only going to get 7 ounces. We're trying to get more like 9-10 ounce for belts. So you might have to pair the Latigo with something else. In my time working at the tannery, we sold a lot of leather to a lot of belt makers, and they would use Latigo as a belt backer. So it's actually a really great liner for a belt. So we might want to try something like, I don't know, it'd be pretty cool to see that with like black and then do like a tan stitch on it. So imagine this Latigo as a backer or this or something. I think that'd be a pretty badass belt. So yeah, we can do it. And then same with the Pearl DeVille. The Pearl DeVille, you need to pair up with something 6 ounce probably. So I would look at our Valet trays. Those Valet trays are made from leather that's around 6 ounce. And we can pair up some Pearl DeVille with like another black Chrome Excel, or even the natural Chrome Excel might be kind of cool. We can do that. Floyd says, I put in a lot of hours at the paper mill for Ashland Goods. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about, Floyd. It means a lot that you spend your hard-earned money supporting us. And we recognize that and appreciate you. Quan says, great question, Quan. When will you start selling shell cordovan belts? Amir just squeaked at me because what would you consider that noise to be called?
I would say a gasp.
He gasped at me. Squeaked is a little weak for a leather crafter. All right, he gasped at me very in like a masculine way. When Amir first started working here, one of the first things we talked about was how we're gonna grow the company together, and we talked about him making belts with us, and it's worked. We're selling a lot of belts. And the second sentence of the conversation was, "I'd really like to work with you on the shell cordovan belt idea I've had," and that was a little over a year ago now, and we still haven't had that second sentence conversation. But we got some ideas for a shell belt. It's going to be the shell belts are a big challenge, and there are companies that do a good job at it now that you can find. You probably won't be able to find the rare shells from them, which is where I think we can fit into the market. Some of the shell belts, here's where I'll caution you. The thing that I don't like about them is the design that has... try to be really clear. There's a shell cordovan belt design that's made from 3 pieces of leather of shell on the outside, and it has a backer. It might even have like a Latigo backer like we just talked about. But when they overlap the leather on top of itself, those tend to delaminate and separate off. And I've seen it a lot from customers telling me about it. I'd much rather you make a sort of like a joint. I think it's called an upholstery stitch, where you can stitch the leather like this, or it's like a French, what's the name of that stitch? Yeah, French seam. They stitch it more like this, where they sort of butt up against each other, and then you put it back, or you like thin it down and lay it out nice. That's what I want to make shell belt like. You can find some like that, but they're, I don't like the ones that are stacked on top of each other and it kind of like flaps around in the air. Those shell belts are not that nice. So to answer your question, I don't know when we're going to do it. Again, like, we can barely keep up with the wallets that we have to make. And I'd rather do that right than keep adding it and do both poorly. Oh. Jonathan Esposito says, is it possible to do a hand stitch fox? Yes, it is. I'll tell you where I land on the hand stitching as I take a sip of Panera iced coffee, not a sponsor. Check out this ridiculous heads up. If you want, they should pay me. You can join the Panera Coffee Club. It's basically free, and they just give you coffee, and then I drink coffee all day. This is the size coffee that they give you for iced coffee. It's ridiculous. So join the Panera Coffee Club. It's a pretty good deal. And they're across the street from us. I abuse it. Where were we? Hand stitch fox. Here's where I land on the hand stitch wallets in general. From Ashland, I only suggest doing the hand stitch if you love the chunkier thread look. And the reason why is we charge more for it. It takes us about a half a day to hand stitch a wallet. And we charge $100 for it. So you have to really like that aesthetic of the chunkier thread look. The other reason is I don't want to take your money. Like, I could do that and take your $100, but most people think, or there's a perception that the hand stitch stuff will last longer. But from us, I guarantee them both forever. So if your concern is durability and longevity, just save $100 and don't do it. Now, I don't think we've actually done a hand stitch Johnny the Fox before. We could do it, but that one even more so would be even more difficult to do. The Johnny the Fox is a pretty challenging wallet to make. So we could do it. I'd be reluctant to do it. But if that's your dream wallet, we'll make it happen for you, man. Oh, Justin McDuff says in love with the raw denim vertical bugs that came in hand stitched. Nice, man. And I think you'll find with the raw shells, any color raw shell, raw denim, raw natural, the way it patinas is remarkable. So that's going to get even better. Floyd says, okay, for the belt feedback. Yeah. And Floyd, if you're the... If your first name starts with a D, we can make that belt and then some for the mistake I made and make it right for you. I've got email printed out with your name on it just to remind me to keep talking to you. It's right here on my desk. AKS Minster says single piece shell belts for the win. You might not know this, but the this is a piece of shell right here. This is about the biggest shell you'll ever see. And this won't fit around my waist. So that's why the shell belts have to be made into multiple pieces. If you visualize a horse butt, which it might be the first time you visualize that on purpose, you'll think about their butt cheeks. The area between the two butt cheeks is not the shell membrane. So on a horse, there's two ovals. Every now and then, the tannery will get a mule hide in, or a donkey, or in a very, very rare occasion, a zebra. And those hides have a continuous shell all the way across the back. That's why Genuine Horine Products, they save those shells for themselves, and they make 1-piece or 2-piece shell belts. That's where it's at. And they charge for it, so it's not cheap. Oh, yeah. See, PRP2 says GHP has a 1-piece shell belt in black right now. I think he only has, like, huge sizes, though. Like 40-inch stuff. Quan says looks like Coca-Cola. That's what I thought, too. That same green color. Yeah, PRP2 says only 40-44. My advice for GHP, send Nick a message. Nick Horween's the guy that runs Genuine Horine Products. And just tell him what you want. He may or may not hook you up. Ren says, I custom ordered English Tan Dublin Tony, the hand stitch with vertical slots. Not sure if the wallet was shown earlier in the video. I have to rewind. I don't have any hand stitched vertical slots here today. So it might not be ready yet. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right, AKS. Well, hey guys, we got a lot to do here. Again, thank you so much for supporting us and sharing the wallets and stuff with your dad. As soon as I turn this off here, I'm going to be turning off the Father's Day sale. So if there's something that you've been thinking about doing that's on the site, just grab it now. You can still use the code. But I'm turning that off in about 5 minutes. So I don't want to stress you out, but it's for real last chance now. But yeah, I mean, it's been really overwhelming how much you guys have hooked us up. We really appreciate it. And I love seeing like the table stuff we just looked at. I love seeing the range of colors and styles and everything we do. So it's really nice to see that you guys are enjoying all the different stuff we do. So thank you again. Appreciate you being here for the YouTube live. Great to chat with you guys. And it would be a lot more lame if you weren't here, just me talking to myself. So all right guys, hey, thanks again for hanging out, and I'll talk to you later.